put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said...
He looked her in the eye and said, "I believe you just lied under oath. That's not a casual accusation. That's a federal crime allegation delivered in real time, in a congressional hearing, on camera." When Ted Lieu accused Pam Bondi of lying under oath, the room didn't just get tense. It crossed a constitutional line, or at least flirted with one. Let's break down what actually happened and what it means.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures, but you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another question.
Can I answer your question about protecting
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's the video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got
released.
your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock.
Stop
the clock.
The legislation. This is
ridiculous.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. There's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing
The
concludes.
gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not
can
ask a
respond.
question, Ms.
He
Head.
doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his state.
You can't just
Madam
ad
Attorney
lib
General.
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Committee will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think our next witness will be.
Lieu started with the Epstein files. Specifically, a July 2025 DOJ memo stating there wasn't sufficient evidence to investigate uncharged third parties connected to Jeffrey Epstein. He showed redacted photos involving Prince Andrew and argued the very existence of those redactions confirmed a trafficking victim under federal law invoking the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. His point was simple. If victims were identified, and if people patronized Epstein's operation, why were no additional prosecutions pursued? That's a fair oversight question. But then the confrontation escalated. Lieu pivoted to Donald Trump citing past social interactions with Epstein and asking whether underage girls were present at events Trump attended. Bondi's answer was blunt. There is no evidence Trump committed a crime. That's where the hearing moved from policy oversight to prosecutorial judgment. And here's the constitutional tension. Under Article 2, executive power including prosecution belongs to the executive branch. The Department of Justice has prosecutorial discretion. Congress can oversee, but it cannot compel prosecution of a specific individual without infringing separation of powers. So when Bondi says there's no evidence, she's making a legal conclusion, not a political one. But Lieu didn't treat it that way. Lieu introduced a witness statement allegedly submitted to the FBI. He claimed it constituted evidence and therefore contradicted Bondi's assertion. Then came the accusation. I believe you just lied under oath. That's explosive. Because accusing a sitting Attorney General of perjury during a hearing implies intent, not just disagreement. Perjury isn't about whether evidence exists somewhere. It's about knowingly making a false material statement. If Bondi believes the evidence is insufficient or unreliable, that's not automatically perjury. That's judgment. But here's where Bondi has vulnerability too. If credible witnesses were never interviewed, that raises questions about investigative thoroughness. Oversight committees exist precisely to probe whether DOJ decisions were complete and impartial. So the clash isn't just rhetorical. It's structural. Congress has authority under Article 1 to conduct oversight. That includes questioning DOJ decisions. But it cannot transform a hearing into a de facto indictment. When lawmakers demand prosecutions from the dais, they risk blurring institutional boundaries. When the DOJ appears dismissive of lines of inquiry, it risks undermining public trust. Both sides are walking a tightrope. Liu's strongest argument is accountability. Over 1,000 alleged victims and no additional charges creates public frustration. Bondi's strongest defense is discretion. Evidence must meet prosecutorial standards, not political expectations. Those are fundamentally different thresholds. Now step back. Accusing an attorney general of lying under oath generates headlines. It also raises the stakes dramatically. If you make that accusation, you better be prepared to substantiate it beyond rhetorical momentum. At the same time, dismissing congressional inquiry as ridiculous as Bondi suggested can come across as evasive, even if legally defensible. The exchange wasn't just about Epstein. It was about institutional trust. Does the public believe the DOJ applies the law evenly? Does Congress respect the limits of its authority? Those questions linger long after the gavel drops. This wasn't just a heated moment. It was a stress test. A stress test of separation of powers. A stress test of prosecutorial independence. And a stress test of how far lawmakers will go when oversight collides with politics. The real issue isn't whether the hearing was loud. It's whether either branch strengthened public confidence in equal justice under law. Right now, that answer is far less clear than either side would like.